What's up? You know what it is. Still Broke Podcast. It's your boy MM on the mic. We are here, and listen, man, I promised that I wasn't going to do something, and I lied to the people. I said I wasn't going to defend Justin Fields anymore. I said I was going to let him do his thing, and my defense of him was going to be basically I couldn't do it. There was not much for me to defend at this point. But then the nonsense came. And it came from a lot of guys that that we respect in the business. And we started talking about after his recent bad game, Justin Fields isn't a starting quarterback in this league. He's this, he's that. And we got to chill out on that. We're going a little bit too far. Has he had some rough games? Yes. But we have some case studies to show us that definitely he's definitely a starting quarterback in this league. Now, what happened is that Marcus Spears said this. He said this on Monday Night Countdown last week, and he sat there and said that this iteration of Justin Fields is not a starting quarterback, and this is what I do agree with. This iteration of Justin Fields is not a starting quarterback in the NFL. Is he a starting quarterback in the NFL? Yes. This iteration of him, no. But this week, Aaron Glenn didn't want to name a starter. Tyrod Taylor exactly hurt. So they reluctantly, was what it looks like, they reluctantly are starting Justin Fields again. Okay, now let's get into this real quick as far as just quarterback play in general and just what we think of quarterbacks in general and how we like to use context to kind of marry around our argument and not use it for everybody. And I'm just one of these people. Listen, I'm one of these people. I need the same energy for everybody. Okay, that's where I am on everything. You can have your opinion about so-and-so, but let me have the same energy for everybody. So I'm going to do this real quick with Justin. All right. When we hear those statements about him not being a sort of starting quarterback, just 6 weeks ago, when they played the Pittsburgh Steelers, we had the conversation of, did the Steelers make a mistake? Like, that conversation was a real conversation. So 6 weeks ago, he was a starting quarterback in the NFL, but now he's not all of a sudden. Now he's not. So when we saw that game, the real conversation that we all had was, damn, did the Steelers make a mistake going with him? No, going with Aaron Rodgers instead of him. Okay, now let's stay on the Aaron Rodgers and let's stay on the Justin Fields conversation. Okay, let's stay on that for a second, because this is the best thing we can look at. Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback for the New York Jets last year. Aaron Rodgers' record for the New York Jets is 6 wins and 12 losses. That's what his record is as a starter for the New York Jets. He is 6-12. And what did we say? Not me. I believe Aaron, but what did most of the media tell you? Aaron Rodgers should retire. They told you he couldn't play anymore. They told you he should retire. He shouldn't even think about coming back. That was the story behind Aaron Rodgers. Why? Because he was 6-12 as a starter with the New York Jets. Guess what he is now? He's 4-2 as a starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And now we're sitting here saying, oh, Aaron Rodgers is good again. Oh, all of a sudden he's good. Overnight, he's good again. Okay? Because now he's 4-2 with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, now let's flip it. Justin Fields was 4-2 with the Pittsburgh Steelers last year as a starter. And we had a real conversation on asking ourselves, should we be starting Russ over Justin? Most of the team was like, I'm not really sure. Half the team want to go with Justin. Some of the team were maybe want to go with Russ. But this is a real conversation now. This is a conversation on whether or not you should switch QBs based on Justin being 4-2 with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, let's flip it. Now he's with the Jets, and he's 0-7. So the same two quarterbacks, all of a sudden, with the New York Jets, they suck and they can't play football anymore. They should retire, or they shouldn't be a starting quarterback in the league. But the same two quarterbacks, the Pittsburgh Steelers, both have the same record after 6 games. I wonder how that works. I wonder how that is. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, always say this. When we talk about quarterbacks' wins and losses, they are not fair. They are not fair. Because you have 3 ways you can win with the quarterback. You can win because of him, you can win with him, or you can win in spite of him. But either way, all the wins count the same and all the losses count the same. So it doesn't really matter. Like, if you go to a team and you're successful, okay, then great. You win games. This is why we have the Jalen Hurts argument all the time. This is why we have an issue of trying to figure out, well, how good is Jalen Hurts and how is he not? Okay, he barely throws for 100 yards against the Chiefs. I think he threw for 101, I believe. And they win the game. Now, if that was Justin Fields or Aaron Rodgers and they lose the game, or Philly loses the game, now what is he? But he's not. He's not a terrible quarterback because they won the game. Okay, I still can't. The Philadelphia Eagles played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year. They didn't complete a pass in the second half. They didn't complete a pass, and they won the game. How does that happen? But that quarterback, we talk highly of, right? If that was Justin Fields or if that was Aaron Rodgers that happened, what would we say? If they lost the game and didn't do that. See, what happens is when you're with a good team, it allows you to have moments. Because when you don't play well and you don't have a good game, when you have a great team around you, you can still win those football games. You can still win it on defense, special teams, so on and so forth. But when you don't have a good football team behind you, when you don't have a lot of good players or great coaching behind you, and you don't play well, then it's all on you. And that's how it works. And that's what's happened to the last two quarterbacks for the New York Jets. When Aaron Rodgers with the Jets, he was a losing quarterback. He goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, he's a winning quarterback. When Justin Fields with the Pittsburgh Steelers, he's a winning quarterback. When he goes to the Jets, he's a losing quarterback. You see how that works? You see how that is? And it changes our perspective on the player. Okay, now I'm not here to tell you that Aaron Rodgers or Justin Fields are on the same platform or just or as far as a player is concerned. I'm not here to tell you that. But what I am saying is that we had the same conversations with the same two guys for the same two teams over the last 2 years. That's what I am telling you. That's the truth. Okay, so that's just factual. That's not my opinion. That's what it is. Okay, so when we do that and when we have that, we got to pump the brakes on this. All right. Again, just 6 weeks ago, we see Justin play against the Steelers. We're like, hey, the Steelers should have stuck with him. Okay, and if he's with the Steelers, they probably are still 4-2. If Aaron Rodgers is with the Jets, I don't know what the hell they are. Because the Jets aren't, listen, the Jets got a lot of problems. They got a lot of problems. But when the defense was staking it up, was that the quarterback's fault? No. When they don't have a receiver outside of Garrett Wilson, is that the quarterback's fault? I don't know. Okay. When the OC is a first-time OC and we don't know if he can coach, it doesn't look like he can. Okay, the only coach not to scheme anybody open against the Dallas Cowboys, the only team not to get people wide open against the Dallas Cowboys are the New York Jets. Why is that? Why is that? Oh, quarterback's fault, of course, not the OC. Because why? We don't look at everybody else. We don't look at a Josh Reynolds and say, Josh Reynolds is a 3 or a 4 on everybody else's team, but somehow he's a 2 for the New York Jets. He's barely making rosters with everybody else, but somehow he's the second best receiver with the New York Jets. But see, these are things that are facts. These are not my feelings, okay? These are facts. No matter how I feel about the player, okay, I can sit here and say, listen, this iteration of what we're getting from Justin Fields, I don't know what it is, okay? He's regressed as a player. He's gotten worse. This has been, listen, I didn't know the situation he was going into. I know everything about the situation in Chicago. I know about the situation in Pittsburgh. This has been the worst situation he's been in. Even with the Bears and their second year, and they had the worst roster in the league. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because at least with that, he could play free. In this situation, and the team sucked and everybody knew they sucked. In this situation, because the Jets roster isn't terrible beyond their receiving core and Garrett Wilson, beyond the team's not terrible. The roster is not terrible. And because they should be better than what they are, and because there were expectations, now he's getting the blame. Okay? And this is listen, let me tell you something, guys. This is a tall tale of do not chase the money all the time. Do not chase the money. You chase the situation. I know your agent's job is to go out there and get as much money and to push the movement forward. Okay? Push the money forward. I get that. But you got to chase the situation. You really do. And I know that Justin was getting paid more in New York. I know he felt like Aaron Glenn handpicked him and this was his guy and they believed in him. I know that. But you went to an uncertain situation. You went to a situation with a defensive coach who wants to win defensively. You also went to an offensive coordinator who's never called plays in the National Football League. And you did not know what you were going to get from that. You cannot gamble on your career when you do that. If you stay with Pittsburgh, you may take a little bit less money. But if you're 4-2 instead of 0-7, guess what? Guess what? There's more money down the line. If you have a winning record with the Pittsburgh Steelers instead of being being 0-7 with the Jets, or 1-6, or 2, whatever that may be, if you're a playoff type quarterback with the Pittsburgh Steelers, guess what? There's more money at the end of the table. There's more gold at the end of the rainbow. Okay, and now people look at you differently. Now they see you as a winning quarterback. And now they look at you and say, listen, once he got out of Chicago, out of a bad situation, guess what, guys? You can win with him. Now it looks even worse. Now it looks worse. and they're going to put it all on you. Because why? You chase the money instead of the situation. I know it looked good. I know you saw Garrett Wilson. I know Aaron Glenn said he's your guy, but now look at you. Now they're reluctant to start you. As soon as it went bad, they turned their backs on you. They know everybody on that roster is terrible. They know the coaching's bad. They know that receiving core is horrific. They know you got a rookie tight end, okay, who's not on the level of the top rookie tight ends. He's okay. He's okay. Mason Taylor's doing better, but they know what your weapons are, and they turn their back on you as soon as they could. You got the owner talking bad about you, okay? The head coach don't have your back, and like he did 1 week ago, he did. A week later, he doesn't. And you see what happened. It's a tell for guys. Do not chase money. Chase the situation. If the money is relatively close, chase the situation. Okay? Look at off subject. Look at Tyreek Hill. Although he's hurt right now, I guarantee, man, he would want to be in Kansas City so bad. So bad. But he chased the money. He chased the weather over situation. And that's what he did. And you see, that's what happened with Justin. But to get back to what I was saying is that we have to be honest about it. Okay? We saw flashes with this kid. We know what he can do. He's had 300-yard pass game. He's had great games. You go back and look at year 2 with the Bears when he had nobody, and you saw what he did. Okay, you go back and look at year 3 with the Bears, and Luke Getsy. Okay, and you look at the Commanders game. You look at the Atlanta game. All right, you look at the Arizona game. You look at these games, and I can name multiple. You look at the Detroit games, both of them. Okay, where Detroit was just having all kinds of problems with him. You look at those situations. The guy can play. He can play at this level. He is definitely in his head right now. He definitely doesn't have a lot to work with Garrett Wilson out. The OC seems to be over his head as well as the head coach at this time. So he's fighting a lot of uphill battles. And what it looks like with the players sometimes is that sometimes you get to the point mentally where you wave the proverbial white towel. And what do I mean by that? I think he's still going to go out there and he's still going to give what he needs to give in practice because that's the type of guy that he is. But when you've been through so much as a player mentally, and you go through so much as a player mentally, that you say to yourself, you know what, it really doesn't matter anymore. Everything that I try to do, everything that I've done, I've just been in terrible situations, and it is going to be what it's going to be. It's just going to be. Like, I can't change the situation. I've never been in a situation where the chips have fallen my way, and it just seems like every decision I make has been the wrong one. And it continues to happen. So you know what? It is what it is. I'm going to go out there and play. I'm going to go out there and work hard and practice. But whatever happens, happens. And you almost just don't have the bandwidth anymore. And you just wave the towel and say, hey, it is what it is. You want to bench me, then bench me. Okay? You want to play me, then play me. I'm going to approach practice every day the same way that I always do. But the fire to be the best version of yourself is gone because you don't believe A, you can get to that, and B, if you do, it'll result in wins or result in basically the fruits of the labor that you've put into that. You don't think it's going to happen. Okay, so I almost think that's where he is, where Justin Fields is at this point in time. I cannot say that for sure. I do not know him personally. I don't not know anybody on the Jets that's spoken to him personally, but just from what I'm hearing through the press conferences, I can see part of that as a player. But to get out here and say he's not a starting quarterback in the NFL, when we've obviously had a decision about him being a starting quarterback, and we've seen the flashes of this kid. And I can put the highlight film on if you want to, and we've seen the flashes of him making throws that not a lot of people can make in this league. And then him making, the runs are crazy. All right, he had a run this year against Miami that if it was Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, we'll still be playing it right now. We'd still be playing the run right now. It was silly. It was silly. Again, only one or two quarterbacks can make it, and that's Lamar and Justin. That's it. Not Kyler, not Josh, none of them. Just them two. That's it. But right now, it is getting really bleak over there and getting really bad. So, again, we've gone too far. I'm not here to defend him up to this point as far as who he's been as a player. He has not been good. He's not been good. We've seen a better version of him. I don't know who this guy is. Obviously, he's regressed, all right, for a lot of different reasons. But to sit up here and say that he is not a starting quarterback in the NFL or can never be a starting quarterback in the NFL, we said the same thing about Sam Darnold. We said the same thing about Daniel Jones. And look at him now. Look at him now. So before we go there, before we go there, we just got to make sure we got to stop jumping up. Listen, we are so reactionary in this society, in this generation. We are so reactionary on what we saw today. Not what we've seen, not the body of work, but what we've seen today. And then we don't want to add context to everything that we're talking about. We only want to add it to certain people. All right. Listen, I love me some Caleb Williams. We will give him every excuse in the book. Every excuse in the book. Why? Because he was the number one pick. All right. So we have to be right on him. So we will give him every excuse that he has when he doesn't play well, when things are going on. Like I said, we even tried to scrap a whole season for this man. Man played 17 games. We tried to act like it didn't even happen. Okay. With DJ Moore, with Keenan Allen, with Rome Odunze, with DeAndre Swift. He played 17 games with all those guys, and we try to act like it did not even happen. That's what we do, because we try to get the context to match our opinion, okay? Instead of saying, listen, I may be right here, I may be wrong, but this is what happened. This is the fair context, and this is what you can draw your opinion off of. Simple as that. And that's all I'm saying when it comes to the Jets and Justin Fields. Bring it all in, look at all of it, okay? And then form your opinion on it. Because I don't see anybody saying, Josh Reynolds sucks at football, we should bench him. Adam Lazard is not very good at football anymore. We should bench him. Mason Crosby has a drop almost every game. Oh, he's a rookie, so it's cool. All right, we don't do that. We got guys getting cooked on defense. Oh, they're still playing. We don't say our offensive coordinator has not cooked up anything all year. Why is he still calling plays? No, what we say is, it's the quarterback's fault. The quarterback sucks. That's what we say. And to me, that is not fair. Okay? Now, we always say life isn't fair. But in this sense, in this situation, let's bring all the context into this. Let's bring it all into that, and then let's form our opinion. Okay? Now, Justin's going into this game without Garrett Wilson and without Josh Reynolds, a banged up Breece Hall, man, and a terrible offensive coordinator. I can't wish, listen, this kid, at this point, just go out there and play as hard as you can, but I don't wish this upon anybody. So we probably will have another bad outing this coming Sunday. But listen, man, again, I'm not here to defend. I said I wouldn't do it. But when you guys start talking crazy, I got to bring order to the court. I just have to bring order. So that's what I'm doing here. That's what I'm doing. But all right, I'll get off the soapbox here. My man Jay. I'm going to still say what JF1, because that's who he's with Chicago. This JF7, JF2, I don't like it. All right, that's probably the problem now. Go back to number 1. I don't know what's going on here. But anywho, all right, I'm out of here as usual. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like what you hear, like what you see. It is MM Still Broke Podcast. I am out of here. Catch you in the next one. Peace.